Hello everybody, welcome to the breaking news last wrap-up session for Nordic Game. Really good to see so many people, actually pretty surprising actually. And this is my really shitty PowerPoint skills. It's only get worse and downhill from here, I'm sure. Actually, we'd like to start with a really short Q&A right now. So if you have any questions, now, okay, no Q&A, that's fine, that's it, okay? We're done with the Q&A, no Q&A anymore. And I should say that we have all suffered like the normal Nordic Game symptoms right now, so I know you're kind of going downhill from here, so we try to speak really slowly, really articulate, I hope so, because I think you're experiencing some of those symptoms as well, as we are up here on stage. So we have a lot of water, coffee, I hope you're comfortable as well. My name is Thomas, this is Ina Bäckström, she's a game producer for Paradox, and this is Armin Ibisakic? Perfect. Ibisakic, yeah, from Coffee Stain Studios, or the Goat Simulator developers. Wow. Goat Simulator? Hey, give me a hand. Woo! Woo! And right now, we really hope to be kind of like this Tetris brick for you all right now. We came to fuck shit up, trying to making a light-hearted end to this Nordic game show. So in short, we have this little program summary, what we're going to talk about, and maybe not going to talk about, payments versus passion. That's like a universal theme. I think we've seen it all in the some of the talks here. And the exploitative versus the creative people. I like that distinction as well. We're going to talk a bit about Nordic culture and Nordic games versus the world, of course. What is the difference? What makes us different in the Nordic region compared to the rest of the world, and what doesn't, actually? We're going to talk a little about the key sessions wrapped up in eatable quotes, so you can get them in your mind, get them to stick. So when you go on weekend, you all know what happened here the last 3 days. Maybe we're going to talk about why there are only like 5 women speakers on the program, so what the fuck is that about? And we have a quest for emotions as well. That's also one of the central themes, I would say, for many of the talks. We have awards, treats, prizes, hugs, and karaoke as well. So I think it's going to be a good afternoon until like 5 o'clock, and then you can all leave and go home to weekend. I talked to Jacob Ries, who actually told me to use the official slide template for a Nordic Game Conference, where you actually have this, you have to use this for all your talks. You have the puppet video, and you have the full-length playthrough video down here. I hate to say I couldn't do it. It was too hard to make all the slides like that. So I'm gonna dump that, if it's okay with you. And the sound is really bad. So can I mute it? No, I can't mute it. Maybe I can go ahead. But first of all, I would like to talk a bit about the main difference between, of course, Europe and the USA, also in game terms wise. And to do that, we have a very special guest I'd like to welcome on stage. I think many of you know her actually, and I promise to mute the sound here, because this is from last year's, not like last year's, yesterday's party. Actually, it's more fun when you don't have the sound on. She's singing like a prayer for Madonna, and I think the moves are just fantastic. I promised, no, yeah, that's good, Lee, no sound. So will you please welcome Lee Alexander on stage. Lee?
Thank you very much for that.
We invited you on stage because you wrote this. This was actually the first article you published on Gamma Sutra related to Nordic Game Conference. Why are Nordic game developers so good, even though it was the Swedish game developers, but that's okay. And I know, Ina, you have some
yeah, I'm just going to grab it from here, actually. And you can live comment
I'm going to do that, actually.
So, hey, welcome.
Hi.
So you're gonna catch a flight in like 10 minutes.
10 minutes. I got to actually just run right out of here like a in-and-out type thing.
Okay,
but I'm really happy to be here. It's my first
quick.
Nordic game.
So you just wrote an article on Gamma Sutra on Nordic game culture.
Yes.
Tell us shortly about that.
Well, it was from the speech given by David Pofeld from Massive Entertainment that he opened the event with. I don't know if I can't say anyone's name here, right? I'm having a hard time as a foreigner with the names. I've met Jon, Eunice, Jonas. It's hard for me to do if I'm ever getting it right. But so David, I think I said David, right? He spoke about what creates game culture in the Nordic, the development culture in the Nordic region, because all around the world it's known as being especially strong. And while he said he didn't like to stereotype about cultures, he talked about, he thinks that one of the things that defines the people here is over the years of living in harsh conditions and harsh winters, like it's so harsh here right now. This is the nicest weather I've seen in weeks. But thanks to the harsh conditions, Nordic developers placed a strong emphasis on tools and practical advice. And he said something like, don't trust anyone that doesn't have a practical advice. And another thing I've noticed about people here, and it's really my first time, yeah, my first time being here, and one thing I've noticed people say a lot is, of course, like
yes,
all the time in conversation, of course. And in a weird way, I think that one little linguistic idiosyncrasy kind of maybe says something about the ethics of being prepared, like, of course.
The efficiency,
of
obviously.
Course. Yep.
Do you agree, Armin?
I think it definitely has to do, like if you compare Sweden or the Nordic countries to like other European countries like Spain and Italy, I definitely think it has to do with like the fact that the weather is so shit here. Like we only stay inside and play video games, because if you live in Italy or Spain, you know, you're walking around on the beach, you're having a great time, you're socializing with people, everyone's really beautiful. But in Sweden, I think we have like this nerd culture, we have DreamHack, we have everything, and we like to play a lot of video games. And I think that
like basically everywhere else, everyone has a life.
Everyone is really happy in all other countries.
Well, the thing that I think of here actually that's been different from my experience of GDC is that I think people here are less nerdy and have better social skills despite the fact that they work in game development, which, you know what I mean? People my whole time here have just come up to me and been, hi. I'm like, hi, you know, do we know you? No, I'm just, you know, saying hello and wanted to talk about my work. Okay. Wow, like everyone's super friendly, whereas usually if someone comes up to me at GDC and wants to talk to me, I'm always like, oh, what does this awkward person want right now? Actually, so I don't think that, I think that somehow they've managed to cultivate a strong computer games culture here and also remained nice, charming, lovely people. So
that's lovely.
Very positive impression of everybody here.
Go us.
Yay.
Awesome. But if you, I mean.
No!
But if you like compare it to American culture, for an example, which I think have a more strong crunch culture, and we try to not do that here.
Yeah, that was actually another point that David made in his talk, that there is a culture of fair labor here, and he said importantly that games development is a marathon, not a sprint. In my part of the world, a lot of people do that sprint culture, where they'll crunch for like 8 to 18 months on something like really brutally, and then the core team disperses and moves on to the next project. And that isn't really a sustainable or healthy working culture for the people that do games development, and it results maybe in products that aren't as strong as if you are able to have a high quality of life, have a diverse array of hobbies and interests and influences, and can also plan for the long term rather than for the sprint. And another thing David said is he has the pleasure of working with people who have been in their work for 15 years. Like that doesn't often happen in America. We have very few people who stay at the same company for a long time. So, yep, yeah, that's exactly what I meant. Thank you.
Okay. Well, something that has come up in some of the talks, actually a lot of talks, is the whole part where we should be really nice to each other, and that a part of that is having a flat like company culture.
Yes.
Do you feel like that specifically? Because you mentioned that. Is that something very Nordic?
Well, I don't know about that. There are a lot of companies in America that claim to be lateral and collaborative and not very hierarchical. They have some companies that are famous for having sort of open development structure, and yeah, and so I think that people are still experimenting with various management structures that work. But in general, in game development, people are happy at work when they feel their views are being respected, and if people are happy at work, they make good products. But that is something he emphasized as being specific to what he sees as the culture here, that because of the need for everything to be practical and efficient, it doesn't matter what your title is. If you have a good idea, and if the idea is useful, then it can be listened to, and that people also very sort of build trust very carefully. They know, they know not to just shout out whatever's in their head, but they plan carefully for what to offer. And in turn, a manager person with an eye for the practical would accept that.
I think you would agree a lot with that, Armin, right?
I actually think that we have a. I don't know how it looks in the United States, but I think we have a really flat structure in general in Swedish
It may be the norm here, whereas in America it's rarer.
Yeah, and the norm here is like, I think we're a little bit more laid back. And I think that is good, especially for indie games. And I think that's why we're seeing like so many artistic games coming from the Nordic region.
Yeah. But high quality artistic games as well. When you say someone's laid back, you know, you're used to seeing, you expect it's going to be kind of loopy and crazy, and that's good sometimes. But you know, clean lines, efficient shapes, beautiful colors.
Great. So actually, switching from to another topic, I know that you mentioned that you were a little disappointed that there were so few female speakers actually this year.
Yeah, we had all been looking at the program together, and Thomas had actually been the one counting. I want to give him the credit for noticing that, because I always appreciate when men in my workspace are also interested in equality. And I've been speaking to a lot of women developers here, and they say that because it's so exceptionally liberal in this part of the world, people don't often realize that workplace inequality still exists in a lot of social ways. Like, I think it's more likely for people to realize that, you know, fair treatment of all people is important here, and it's a cultural value here. But sexism often manifests in really subtle ways. Some people think that sexism is, oh, a man pinched my butt, or like, oh, he said a slur to me. But instead, it's what it is when women at work just feel a little less listened to than men. Or if you walk into a room full of game developers and you see a couple women and you just don't really introduce yourself to them because you assume they're somebody's girlfriend and not important. And that doesn't mean you're a bad person. You know, you don't set out intending to be hostile or exclude anyone, but we all, women or men, have attitudes about equality that we express and manifest in our daily lives without even noticing, that come from the messages that are fed to us by wider society. So a lot of the women I spoke to here said they sometimes have a harder time dealing with feeling undermined at work because this expectation here is that the problem is already solved. So I guess when I was speaking to Thomas about you know, the women speakers, why are there so few? Sometimes, you know, women are socialized to believe that they shouldn't speak up and offer something, especially when they're used to being undermined at work. So one way maybe that the festival can include more diverse speakers next year is to specifically reach out and invite people. And importantly, invite them not only to talk about being women, but to talk about the work they do.
I was going to get to that actually, because usually people ask you to talk about how is it to be a woman in the industry, and I've never been in anything else, so I can't really comment on that. So it's a natural state of being for me. But why is it important to have women talking about other things, about what you're good at? My job description, which is good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to denigrate panels like One Reason to Be, where women come and speak about their experiences and they speak about the challenges that they face, because it's not a solved problem. And that's nice that people feel free to share those ideas and be heard by others who maybe want to learn about their experiences. But if everyone's like, oh, we care about diversity, so we have this one room where all the women sit in and talk about diversity. You know, if we're just sectioned off into the diversity track or the women's track, we're not really contributing to the wider conversation about game development. So I think most women I know want to talk about whatever it is they do, whether that's AI or journalism or, you know, whatever their job is. They want to share their insights and their expertise and be respected on that. So that's what real diversity initiatives look like, is being ensuring that when we speak about a topic, we hear from all different kinds of people on that topic.
There's been a lot of talk about passion, and passion is very important in the gaming industry, and obviously everyone wants to share what they're passionate about. So, I mean, there's a few other articles coming up in Gamma Sutra from here. What are they going to be?
Yeah, I hope so. Yes. I sometimes follow them and I wait for them to put them up, and so I don't really know what the schedule for it is. But
what are they going to be about?
Well, actually, I think I maybe finished. My last one was about Monument Valley. I attended the talk today about the tools that were used to build that game. And they spoke about how having really good tools is like building a user experience for the developer. If the tools are simple and are a pleasure to use and are efficiently designed to do the job that, you know, to achieve the objective of the game, I think that it makes the development easier and more flexible. They had a really thoughtful and considered way in which they built the tools for this game that fed through all the way to the result of the game, which, if you're familiar with Monument Valley, is an amazing little design object. So they talked about the simplicity and efficiency of how they developed that game, which I thought was really interesting.
So I know you're going to have to leave now, actually. If you don't want to miss your plane.
I have a plane to catch. I've had such a fun time at my first Nordic Game. It was so nice meeting everyone that I got to meet. And thank you for having me. It's been awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
So back to you, Thomas.
Fantastic. Yeah, actually, I have to switch to a different screen now. I'm going to do this. And actually, I made the Indiana Jones fanfare, but I think it was too low. You can't hear it. That was Lee leaving, so let's try it. So we can do that as well. I have numerous sound effects up here, so yeah. I'm just going to do this. Yeah, and actually, I didn't attend this One Reason to Be panel. It didn't look like this, sorry. It looked like this, starting with childhood images, but I heard there was crying. Was that right? Oh, okay. I hope it was good. Did you attend it? You didn't
no,
attend it?
I was in a business meeting.
Okay. Did anyone you attend it? Was it good? Yes. Okay, yes. Fantastic. Should we have like more of that? Yes. Okay, cool. Fantastic. I'm going to skip ahead here because I'm going to talk a little bit about the keynote. I think you saw David. I just collected some of the good quotes when he went on stage, actually, about this. He's not actually making a game, he's making a world. I think that's a really, really good comment and argument for all of you game devs out there. Don't just make this game, make a continuous good world you want to live in. And actually, the nerdiness of David Braben was, I mean, really, really fantastic. I mean, if he ever made a spaceship, I would so go. I mean, who wouldn't trust your life into David's hands? That would be awesome. Especially if you all took toothbrushes and tried to sell them in this galaxy. Now, this notion of trying to have the players actually destroy the sales system or trade system in the game, I think that's really awesome as well. To give them some kind of agency over that as well. Yeah, and of course, this is the fun fact, the code was like 22 KB as a less than most emails today, so that's the lesson learned. And I was going to show a lot of gameplay trailers while I was doing this, but yeah, it came out wrong, sorry. Next up, actually, I saw some really, really good comments on making a hit without marketing from Cirkuson. Really, really hard to pronounce that name. So I'm just going to call him Mr. Image and Form, maybe. He started actually singing the blues before he went to did a talk. I think that should be something we should all do next year, to start the talk with a song. That could be awesome. But he had some really good advice for newcomers. I mean, also just be fun, change yourself into a fun person, be fun in emails, and talks be interesting. I mean,
fun is a very interesting word that shows up everywhere, yeah. But no one can actually really define what fun is. It's very vague.
Yeah, it is. How would you define it then?
That's like a great tip to like make a fun game.
Yeah,
and be.
So make a fun game and you'll be okay.
Make a fun game. Yeah.
You'll earn money.
And then the publishers will chase you. That's the best advice ever.
I'll be coming for you.
Wow, fantastic. Okay, are you striving to be fun when you communicate in your emails?
It very much depends on what kind of person I'm dealing with.
Okay.
I think personal is obviously always very good, but a little fun is good.
So when are you not fun?
Some meetings and so on. I think that would be a bad place to be too fun.
Okay, so there's a limit to the humor. Okay,
I think so too, actually.
And you're
unfortunately, I would say
always fun.
You're always fun
all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, like when we were nominated for the Indie Awards, for example, I said that if we don't win, I will kill myself.
Yeah.
And we didn't win.
And what are you doing here then?
So this is what you have to look forward.
Well, the thing is that no one ever listens to me unless I threaten to kill myself.
Okay. So maybe you should have death threats in all your emails when you're sending out.
Actually,
please accept my game or I'll kill myself.
When we send out the
that's a good advice.
The review. So I'm a PR manager for Coffee Stain. So I send out review codes to journalists. And when we sent them out for Goat Simulator, I just said that if you give us a bad review, I'm going to kill myself.
Seriously, you did?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you also had a really good quote on
it's Goat Simulator.
But if you do that too many times, people are going to get used to it. Like Armin, he's the guy who threatens to kill himself, and it's not going to be anything
that's
anymore.
That's going to be memorable.
That's
That's
be
good.
Like,
fantastic. Okay.
He does that.
Well, Jan Sigurdsson also said game journalists are really lonely people that need new best friends and make it personal. Yeah, we are really lonely.
Aww.
Yeah, and he said, hugging is nice, getting hugged is nicer. Interact with people closely and personal. Okay. I've seen a lot of hugs at Nordic Game. I think the hug rate is kind of higher than normal US conferences. So
I do that actually. I'm not always fun, but I hug people.
Okay,
I think that's nice.
Until they are fun. You just
exactly.
Hug them.
Then it's cut off.
Yeah, and the last good advice would ask, don't tell, just don't tell, just don't inform. So be lively when you're doing this communication, of course, with the publishers and the press. I also attended this. I think most of you saw Steve. Really, really fantastic talk about killing the game industry. I did I copied some tweets there. Some of the best ones were like this one with Call of Duty. Also this one. yeah, it's actually really strange to see the Unreal video before that. So, but it felt
I
right.
like the Unreal video. It's very.
I think it would be good with like classical sound, something different. I mean, different music. That could be fun.
I really like the Unreal Engine. It's practical and really good to use. We have an exclusive with Epic.
Okay, that's a sponsored message. Ding. Cool.
Do you have a sound effect for the sponsor messages?
Let's see. I have one maybe. Should I find a good one? Let's see. It could be like this one. Is that good?
Yeah, it's fitting.
Okay. Also have like
game over.
I don't know. Maybe that. Jon said keyboards are for writing, suicide notes not for dancing. That was an awesome quote as well from Steve. And this I like PR killing game industry. I'll tell you more, but it's under embargo until next week. Fantastic. And many people actually had tears in their eyes. So also Jonathan here had tears in his eyes and standing ovation for Steve. So really awesome. Good going. Next up, I went to see this Marcio Donnell. I mean, and when I don't know, I got really goosebumps when I heard the Halo theme again with the Gregorian chants and all that. And he also played a really nice little jingle here. Can I get sound? I get sound. This was like before the Halo, I think.
Monster here. Rocks candy and blah blah blah. Pop and rocks candy, give a pop and a smile. Mary is wearing candy then smile.
So that's how you start making the Halo soundtrack. That's fantastic.
Can we see just like 5 seconds of that one without sound?
Yeah, of course. Go back. I just do this. I'll do this. Is that better? Everything is more fun without sound.
His dance looks like he really needs to go to the bathroom.
That's right. That's right. I think he did actually. He drank a lot of water during that talk, so you're probably right. Yeah, and his keynotes were like, "Don't be mean to Inner Goose." It doesn't make any sense at all if you didn't went to the talk. But he talked about this golden eggs, like where you shouldn't like kick the goose. You should really examine who's laying the golden eggs, of course. He's also had this really quote, "What's my big inspiration? Deadlines." So yeah, it actually helps, and I can say that for a fact as well. Yeah, I said, don't mistake the golden egg for the goose that laid it. That's also good advice. So.
I understand as a publishing producer, I'm here to represent exploiting people then, I guess.
Are you the exploiting people?
No, I just thought that there was a corporation feeling to that, so I guess that I've gone dark side.
So how do you exploit people, Lina?
Of course I don't. We never do.
Okay.
No, I felt there was a nice tone to this and a lot of other speeches about being kind to people in the business.
Yeah,
I really felt that also the entire event and a lot of the session has a very kind feeling to it. I really appreciate that with this event.
To be kind to the creative people and to the geese.
Not just to your inner goose, you know. Be kind to everybody around you.
That's right. Do you have inner geese, a goose as well? Or do you have one, or do you have numberal geese inside?
A goose?
A goose.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
That's right, doesn't make any sense. But you're a creative person, so that's good. Marcy also had this hand of leadership, I like that, which is like the 4 rules that you should really try to embody when you have a game culture. So start meeting about what I think, what you think, talk, what we think, then action, and then like repeat that. And then you have a good flat company structure as well, where you actually listen to the creative people. Is that something you can recognize, Ina?
Absolutely. I think it was what we talked about with Lee just before now as well, that we have a lot of that, and I think we should really appreciate that. I think it really helps creativity and people feeling said and like their ideas is heard, and you can actually go talk to the executives because they're on the same floor and they're very approachable all the time.
And you can show them the hand.
Exactly, show them the hand and they know what's up. I think
Fantastic.
that's very important to a company structure.
Okay.
Definitely.
Cool, show them 2 hands. It's going to be a long meeting.
Yes.
Yeah. And then his final advice was 3 lessons for how to stay creative. Stay alive, ship, and make money. Okay, easy. Leave lesson, that's good. He also talked about how to actually care for your goose, so that was cool. I mean, they eat grass and they just like to get out of the rain. That's it. But actually, it was kind of cool to see Leia from Microsoft having the same notion to treat the creative people well as well. because it's the right thing to do. It fosters creativity, ensures loyalty as well, right?
Definitely.
So yeah, it's a good theme. And also, it really ties into, I don't know if you saw Steve Gainer's talk about the Gone Home and trusting people, about trusting your players as well. This is, yeah, the Colombian street party, of course. But he talked a lot about pedestrian walks and about how you really trust the cars to stop when you walk out of them. So we had like this really, I mean, taken totally out of context, of course, right? But about the tutorials here, I don't trust you to the player. In Gone Home, the only reason to explore the game is to find the narrative. So that, of course, is the motivation to go through Gone Home. And they took a chance, and that's the only reason they found the audience, because it was such a different game than we've seen out there. Yeah, and this is about trust. Players start playing on the assumption that the game will be good. It gives us a trust by instinct, and we should really use that as a game developers. That's really a key asset in making good games, I would say. Are you trusting your players when you make good games?
I think you have to, depending on what kind of game you do. I work at Paradox. We try to make pretty hardcore games, so you definitely have to trust the player then. It's very important.
Okay.
Don't hold them by the hand too much, or they'll get bored.
Yeah, we made Sanctum 2 a year ago, and we wanted to make a really good tutorial, but I think the best way when you design a game is just to not make a tutorial, because if you need a tutorial, then you're probably doing something wrong.
Okay.
I like tutorials. I'm going to defend tutorials. I think a smooth learning curve is very important, especially if you make complex games, so you don't shut anyone out that maybe would like the game anyways.
But I could agree with you, but I think that, you know, there are so many super complex games that don't have any tutorials, like DayZ, like Rust, like Minecraft. But if you just make the first, 30 seconds of the game interesting, players are gonna keep playing and they're gonna find out stuff themselves. And I think that's where you need to trust your player base. Good, yeah.
Maybe you can make you have to pay to get the tutorial and make the game super complex.
Oh, we're already onto that.
That could be fantastic.
Yeah, there'll be lots of microtransactions for the entire tutorial.
Yeah,
and you'll have to pay to do everything new. Yeah, exactly.
Fantastic.
It's the new thing.
That's not evil
It's going
at
to
all.
replace free to play.
Maybe I should play the evil laugh now. I don't know. Is that time for that?
Please don't. Please don't.
That's fine. Okay. Fantastic.
Paradox publisher.
We talked about Monolith Valley. That was a good session as well. Building the impossible in Unity. Yeah, then there was Lea Hoyer from Microsoft talking about narrative and about the good story is never about the idea, it's about the execution as well. And if you have this conflict between fun and story, then you are really doing it wrong. Yeah, is that something that you can relate to as well?
They should have just listened to Image and Form's presentation and made a fun game.
Okay.
That's when you play it, it's fun. Okay.
Yeah, this is one of the. There was a lot of really good talks about story. That's obviously something that people are looking at and trying to find out and find new ways. And this was a really good one. And she brought up a list of people. She asked an executive for a list with prioritization, and it was fun on top of it. You can't define that. You can't quantify that. And it was what was the next one? The taking charges or microtransactions or something.
Yeah,
and then it was gameplay. And I feel both story and how you ask people to pay for stuff, it has to be a part of the gameplay. I mean, you can't put those in a list and just put them aside. You have to have them integrated with each other. I think it's very important for both of them.
Yeah, that's right. Then I have some strange note here. I'm going to jump ahead a bit. Let's see here. Yeah, and this actually goes into, we have a news session here about what if Mario had feelings actually, and that ties into the talk that Massimo did. We have this news which just came out from our news team out in the fields. So I hope there's a sound of this one.
It's the bed! It's getting worse!
Mario, what happened?
Luigi, I hit the block! I hit it with my head!
Why did you hit the block?
I thought there'd be a single golden coin! Some of them have coins!
Really?
No! Luigi, no!
That's a horrible video. I think it deserves applause.
Yeah, I think that's good. I will feel really sorry for Luigi, of course. But I think it really ties into, of course, the whole emotions about that and what Massimo said about, really interesting about it's really still socially acceptable to hate games. And how do we kind of not combat it, but change that perception in like mainstream media as well and the social. He talked about the game mechanics, we can touch other kinds of emotions. So he tried to really said we should play with Legos and we should understand, of course, why games are so different art forms than all the other kinds, not lent that much from film and all that. Is that something you can comment on?
In the previous speech we talked about from Microsoft, she used Brothers as a really good example for using your. I mean, some of you probably saw that. We said that you use both the sticks, and they will act differently for different characters to describe those characters, and that's a great way of telling you something about this character and giving you a context, and that's also a way of actually telling a story. The context is a story as well. I think that was a really, really nice example.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, and I definitely think that this thing about hating games is something that is really disappearing more and more for like every day today, with games being so wider and way more people are playing games right now. People that aren't gamers, like in the 90s, you only had like a specific type of people that computer geeks played games, right? But now everyone plays games, so I think that it's something that's really great for the industry.
It's gonna go away, and we have so many different types of games. There's something for everybody. You can't say I hate games because you can't say I hate films. There are some films that are pure art. There are some games that are pure art. There are games that are focused on game mechanics and games that focus on exploration and so on. So it's a very weird statement.
Yeah, it's funny, but when I met that notion, I hate games, then I just say, okay, you also hate like playing cards, or you hate going bowling or something like that, and then people know, I like that. So that's good games.
Then you like playing games.
Yeah, so you still like games. So if you go, define games as the whole spectrum, then you get them. Then you can call out the bullshit. And that's a good part.
That's a good one.
This doesn't make sense, so I'm going to skip ahead here. Actually, I think it's time to go to the awards, and I have a fanfare for that as well. So we have some really, really cool awards this year. Yeah, baby.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, fantastic. First up is a really, really awesome award called the Best Use of Animal in a Talk. I really like that. And of course it goes to Matthew Donnell for the Dead Goose. Woo! Give me a hand. I don't know if he's out there. Are you out there? Probably not. Okay. That was a really hard photo, Marty, so really shocking. Okay, next up is best slide for like the whole Nordic Game conference. There's a lot of contenders here actually. This one I like, coordinate graphs, fantastic. I wasn't actually at that talk, but just looking at that looks cool. So I actually like this one as well. In this all like Amstrad, Commodore 64, Glory, all that. That's kind of cool. Then we have the One Reason to Be panel, who like use child pictures to evoke emotions. That's a good trick. It works here as well.
Smart.
And they also went to like really child drawings to evoke even bigger emotions. Wow, that's fantastic. And I actually loved this with Massimo's talk. It was really, really good. Especially this one, how he never writes a story. It's just totally blank, the pages. And actually, I haven't like decided on a winner. So who should win this best slide?
Oh my God, that's a hard question. Yeah. Should we vote? Maybe?
I don't know. What do you say? Oh, there's so many. Maybe this one? I don't know. Boo, this one. Hey, well, can we hear one? Is that good?
Come on, don't be so shy.
Hey, okay, this one. Shout out. This one.
Wasn't it first one?
This one? This one? Or this one?
Nope, not that one.
This one? I think we have a winner here! Woo! I don't know, is Riker here? Is Riker here? You're there. Okay, actually you won a ticket for Nordic Game Conference 2015. So
Yay.
You're coming. Yeah. What? Okay, then he's coming too. 2 tickets for you guys, okay? Fantastic. Give him a hand. Okay. Next up is a new award, the best jingle combined with dance. And actually, there's not much debate here, of course. It goes to Martin and Donnell as well. That's good, right? Okay. He won 2 awards. That's okay. Then I discovered yesterday that we have really, really strange party behavior in the Nordic region. So I made up this best, most awkward Nordic party behavior. And it goes to this group of people from Norway. Like out there, some of the Norwegians, I don't know, because I don't know what happened. I just like looked at them and then suddenly they did this up against the wall. I don't know, it's like some kind of evil regime coming to take them away or shoot them. I don't know. But really, really awkward award. Behavior for that one. That's fantastic. Next up is best tweet. A little bit more serious, maybe. We have good contenders here. We have Lars Kroll. That's a good name, from Denmark. So last year I had a meeting with this venture capitalist last year. And this is like the face hugger from Alien. I think that's good. I like that. Everyone loves face huggers, right? Then we have this, oh God, more Q&A, why? That shows emotions. I think that's good. I like that. We had this one from you, Armin. I like that. There's not enough chamomile tea in the world to calm my rage. And you look so calm now. You're totally relaxed. You're just like, So you're giving up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, to everyone who voted for me or for our game, thanks. To everyone who didn't, you're dead to me. And
and you'll kill yourself.
I'm gonna kill myself.
Okay.
We got it.
Okay. Do you need a sound for that? I don't know. Maybe this one.
By the power of Grayskull.
That's kind of cool. Okay. Next tweet, I like this. Only in game design talk, the phrase medium range vomit come across as completely natural. That's fantastic. I mean, I couldn't stop laughing at that one. And then the last candidate here nominated, understanding game comedy. If you fail and stop, it's a failure. If you continue, it's a lesson. Love it. That's a good one. Any opinions? Who should win this? I have a clear candidate. I have a clear favorite, I think.
You're obviously biased.
Yeah, you're biased. You cannot say anything.
No, so I'm gonna vote for the vomit one.
Yeah, me
actually.
too. I think the vomit's
a good representation.
Okay, Ole, Ivar, Woody, are you in there? Give him a hand. Woo. Oh, he left the building. I have a sound for that. Oh, we can also make. Okay, fantastic. But he'll still win a ticket for Nordic Game Conference 2015. Okay. I think this is going to be the last, actually, award this year. Yeah. Maybe I should just roll the tape. I have 2 candidates, actually.
Roll the tapes, and we'll see what the audience says.
I need to turn this really, really loud. Okay. First up.
All right. Men no hairdos. People do nothing. They don't care about me or you. Näsans gone bumping. Näsans gone soul. We're gonna dog on me now. We're gonna take care of things too. Listen to the drummer. Lay down his feet.
Did you ask these if you could show this to the audience?
Give a hand. The first one. From Morten Skovgaard.
He's a very brave man.
Very, very brave man.
Actually, I don't want to be a hater, but I walked in there yesterday night when everyone was partying, and I saw that we had karaoke, and I was just, I wanted to die. Like, I wanted to be dead in the ground.
Again?
Okay.
Yeah, like, because
that's kind of a theme with you.
Only the dead could know peace from that awkwardness.
I hope someone is treating that. Could be fun. Okay.
Don't listen to him. Karaoke is awesome.
Yeah, it is. The next and final nominee for that award, this award, is Morten Skovgaard. Give him a hand.
Passion, that's a winner.
Woo! So Morten. And actually, Morten got robbed on the train here to Malmö and lost really all his lovable camera equipment. So all the rage is coming through to the karaoke. And I think that's really just shows the Nordic karaoke spirit. So you just have to sing it out if you are angry.
Sometimes singing is the only way.
Yeah,
it's true.
Frustrated. Actually, there's another, the best demo pod. I just saw it and it was fantastic, this one. And especially this joystick. Wow, I miss those joysticks, right? And how you actually get totally destroyed your hand while doing it. It was fantastic. Last year, I had this award called Most Excessive Use of Dead Academics in One Session. And it went to Matthew Bach from Harmonix, who's actually here again this year, because he mentioned Foucault and Derrida and Irving Goffman and all that. So actually I made most of use of academics in one session this year, and it still goes to Matthew Bach Harmonix. Give him a hand. Woo! Fantastic. He started with Aristotle and went into a lot of theorists, but it was really awesome talk about game genres and the music games that Harmonix are doing. So kudos to that guy. I think actually we are nearing the end here. Maybe I should pull this up and do this. This is actually a little bit of like commercial, because we're having a play festival next week in Copenhagen. So if you are in Copenhagen, then of course drop by. It's really central. We have a really cool keynote speaker called Bernard Coven who's coming, a play guru for like 45 years in this, read a lot of books, Hologrammatio, and our own John. So do show up if you want to play, a lot of talks and all that in Copenhagen on May 13th. Okay, I think that's been it. Do you have any final comments for this show? Was it a good Nordic game?
Should I start?
Yeah.
I think it was amazing. This is the first time I was here, same as Lee, and I'm very grateful to be invited. I think I was really impressed with the diversity and like subjects people talked about, and especially how nice it is to be here. It's a really, really nice feeling to this event, so I'm very, very happy that we have this. It was awesome.
Yeah,
well done, everyone.
I definitely agree. Like, it's really cool. Especially this place had really cool talks, and there's like this kind of. Everyone's like really nice here, right? If you've been at GDC or PAX, it's very crowded. It's a lot of people, but it's very, it's very nice here. Everyone's like super nice. I think that's cool.
It's fun and nice here. Yeah, fantastic. Okay.
But even though it's not as stressful, I still feel like we really went through a lot of different subjects that is important to the industry, and especially I feel like the trend definitely was like storytelling and how do we handle that and so on. So I'm going from here with a lot of new thoughts on that.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Especially with the presentations, we had a pretty good mix of informative stuff and just like really cool, emotional,
Yeah. Passion.
Yeah.
Passion. I have to care about that.
Okay, so we'd like to say thanks to the organizers. Should we give them a hand?
Definitely.
The organizers. Woo! Thank you. Are you out there? Jakob, Eric, Maria. Oh, Paul! Fantastic. Thank you for coming, everybody. I hope you have a really good weekend and a good Nordic Game conference. I hope to see you next year as well. Oh,
I think the organizer wants to say something.
Yeah, stand up and say something. Come up on stage. Give them a hand. Jakob, Eric, Maria, I think. Woo! Yay! Ola.
Does anybody need a mic or something?
Yeah, he's getting the hand mic.
Okay.
Or not? Oh, should I take this? Vad ska jag säga?
Tack! Hope to see you again here next year.
See you next year, right?